Hey, welcome back to another episode of Privileged Bow Hunter. I'm Andre Thompson. We're outside the Island Archer. These folks are always so gracious every year when the new bows come out. They let us shoot. So we got the Hoyt, the Bowtech, and the Mathews this year. The Mathews will be set up at 80, and well, 77 and a half. The other two bows are going to be set up right around 70. So it's not really like a apples to apple comparison. However, we did set it up to the maximum draw lengths that these bows can shoot at. We did speed tests. I took a look and I gave my opinion on how the draw cycles felt. But at the end of the day, you can watch this video. You can use it to kind of help you shop around before you go into your local bow shop. But you got to make your own decision. One thing I ask y'all to do before we get into the video is please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know this probably isn't your first time watching a Privileged Bow Hunter video, so please smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. We're here at the Island Archer on Oahu, testing out the Mathews Phase 4. It's their 2023 flagship bow. One thing right off the bat you'll notice is instead of two limbs here, it's actually split into 4 different limbs with a rubber dampener, and it's supposed to create an even more vibration-free, more quiet bow, more dead in hand. So this will be my first shot out of it. Same cam modules or same cam system as last year. Same switch weight mods, but they added a couple things to give you some more creature comforts. So this will literally be my first impression out of it. First arrow, first time drawing it back. So we'll see what we got. Just trying to take in the shot. There's no accessories on it other than obviously a whisker biscuit, but first impression is that was really quiet, above all things. As far as any hand shock, nothing really noticeable at all, but once again there was a small kind, a little bit of jump forward here from the bottom, but there's literally nothing on here. So for it to be that quiet, I can imagine with all the stabilizers and everything on it, how it would feel just completely still in hand. So I'm gonna take a couple more shots, and then we'll get on to the speed test. Okay, so that first shot, this was literally arrow 1 out of this bow. It was dead quiet. I did feel maybe like a small jump forward. So Danny threw on the stabilizer, and that should take care of all of that. Should be perfectly dead. Oh yeah. It's kind of weird. This is kind of what I've been going for over the years. I've been building up a heavier arrow. I went to tack vanes because it's a little bit more of a stiff arrow. I went to non-vented fixed blade broadheads, just trying to kill as much sound as possible because of the battle back and forth with the axes there. So this is cool. So speed test time. Yep, first one up, 599 grains. All right, yep, so got a 600 grain arrow on, but I'm gonna see what the bow is peak weight is first. Yep, 77.4.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
All right, 600 grain arrow. $269. $562. Yeah, hey, we're trying to get everybody's arrow weights in here from the Ranch Fairy folks to the super light arrow folks. And then review coming soon on these arrows. These are Easton Axis 5mm 200 spines. $278. And I did not think I was gonna have an issue with hitting my arrows down there without a peep sight on or anything. I just knew for certain. But anyways, I might have to refletch those. All right, and then the last one. One thing Mathews is gonna do, if they don't do anything else, is they're gonna make a quiet bow. (316 feet per second). And I know we generally, like, one of the reasons why we go to heavy arrows is for, I mean, a quieter bow, you know, so it can absorb some of that energy. But I mean, that 423 grain arrow still was plenty quiet out of this bow. It's flying 316 feet per second. That's still not like a crazy light arrow. I feel like a few years back, you're talking like 2015 and earlier, plenty of guys were going out and hunting with that same exact arrow. So, and plenty of deer died with arrow weights around that same thing. So, all in all, I am a fan. I am interested on when I'd be able to get my hands on one, just because we're out here on the island. But come down to Island Archer and check them out. All right, we got the Bowtech Carbon One at 30.5 inches. Let me see what this peak weight is. Woo! So peak weight is at 68.5. So when I am, when this bow like gets back, it wants to stay back. It's like we're here, and then you gotta kind of gotta push it forward a little bit. Which, it's all personal preference for everybody, right? What is, you know, what do you shoot? What do you? This would definitely be helpful, being at full draw in a staring contest with an axis deer, being able to hold a little bit longer. So this is a carbon bow. I weighed it. I forgot to do it on camera, but it came out to 5 pounds. They got some aluminum pockets here, it looks like. Bowtech is always known for having a whole bunch of technology on their bows. They are definitely not afraid to innovate and push the envelope. So once again, you can tune your bow. You can, instead of like with Mathews, how we remove the top hats to move the cams left or right, you can do that from here on their deadlock system. I just think that's a cool idea. The draw length is small, kind of short for me. Because this maxes out at, I want to say 30.5 inches on the draw length. I shoot a 31.25, but it didn't feel too bad. So we got 261 feet per second on the first arrow, the arrow that's right around 600 grains. This next one is 563 grains, 563.8, so you might as well say 564. So that 261 on that 600 grain arrow is still plenty of speed. Like, I would have no problems with taking this into the woods. 267. And last and lightest, so with all these new bows out, right, the technology is just great. So what you're gonna have to do is come and talk to the folks at the Island Archer or wherever your local shop is, and you're gonna have to make a decision for yourself on what feels good for you, for your body type. What's my perfect bow isn't necessarily the perfect bow for you. And at the end of the day, it's gonna all come down to confidence when you're out there hunting or a tournament or whatever it is you're doing. 290. So the lightest one is 290. So if you are comparing this speed wise, you can't necessarily call this like a bow battle, right? Because the draw length is a little bit shorter and the poundage was higher on the Mathews Phase 4. So that's still plenty good speed. 5.1 pounds. This one ain't carbon though, yeah?
No, that's aluminum.
Got you. Hey, they were the same. What's up with that? Their carbon and their aluminum bow weighs the same.
Your scale is off.
What?
Right here. It's 7.
Your chronograph must be off too, huh? Because it ain't hit IBO. Okay, so I wonder if this draw cycle is going to be the same. This is the Bowtech SS 34 axle to axle. So it's going to be just off a general principle, right? Like this longer axle to axle would aim a little bit better and be a little bit more forgiving. I am interested to see how this draw cycle is compared to the one that I just shot. The one that I just shot, it was smooth, and then there was a noticeable hump at the end to get over, which, like I said, isn't bad. It's when people talk about rough draw cycles and good draw cycles, some of that is just what you've been used to shooting. If you've been used to shooting a certain draw cycle, you get used to it. Then you go to another bow. It's not necessarily fair to say, hey, that draw cycle is good or bad. It's just not what you're used to. Once again, I always use this tool with the arrow knot. So that one definitely came back smoother. And it was easier to let down at 70.5 pounds for peak. 9.5 as my holding weight. And by now, you all know what the arrow weights are. So let's do the speeds. Draw length is 31.5. Hey, the whole goal of every time this is like the 3rd year in a row now, taking the bows to their max limitations. The whole goal is, hey, there's a lot of folks who have videos out there for, you know, folks who's got the more average draw length and are shooting kind of middle range on the draw weight. So I wanted to take these bows to their max capacities and see what performance you can get out of them. So if you're the 6'3", longer draw length, heavier draw weight, you'll see what you're actually getting out of it. Okay. Not bad. .269 feet per second. I already know the disclaimers out there. I am drawing these bows super ugly. I had a jiu-jitsu tournament over the weekend and all of my limbs hurt. So that's another reason why I'm not making any real comments on the draw cycles of these bows. 563. 269 feet per second. .273. 563. 273 feet per second. 306. So what I can tell is which one is quieter. But what I'm not gonna do is tell you. You gotta tell me below in the comments. All right, so we got the Hoyt Carbon RX-7 Ultra. It's got a long name, like a pimp name, Slickback. Hoyt Carbon RX-7 Ultra. We bouncing between 5 pounds and 5.1. So all their carbon bows that I shot today were around the same weight. For comparison, the Mathews was like 5.5 pounds. All right, let's see what its peak weight is. $70.3. All right, the 595, so basically 600 grain arrow. It was 600 when we started, but I wasn't necessarily expecting all those arrows to be stacked on top of each other out of that phase 4, so I shot a fletch off. .256. What was the draw length on this?
31.5.
On it?
Going the right way?
Oh, that was.
Got short?
I don't know. It was two. I'll shoot that arrow again. 256. I guess that's in the ballpark of what everything else has been with the 600. This is. I got to remember this is around what 70 pounds too. It's 30.5. I got to keep in mind too the phase 4 was set at 31.25. 269 out of the 563. The last and lightest one. 299. We'll call that 300. But did you get the get serious, get Hoyt?
Refuse to follow.
You gotta get all the catchphrases. What's Mathews' catchphrase?
I don't know.
Catch as if you can.
Shit, that was like 2016.
Catch as if you can was. The guy behind the camera over here got a bow from 2016, but it ain't been seen since 2019. All right, so what we did was give you as best as we can for these bows at their max spec. Keep in mind we are on the island, so like getting all these different bow companies to send modules or whatever to get all these bows to 80 pounds is just not really realistic right now. But we got the Mathews up to 77 pounds, a little bit over. Maxed it out on this draw length. Maxed all these other bows out on the draw length, so you can get, if you one of the big fellas, just like we do the one stick videos for the big fellas, just like we tailor our hunting content for the most part to big fellas, we did the same thing with these bow reviews. Bow reviews / speed reviews. So leave us down below in the comments which bow you're gonna come and pick up from the Island Archer. Let us know which arrow combination you would use. You guys can argue back and forth if you want, but hey, please make sure you share the channel. If you don't know how to spell it by now, it's Privileged. We know y'all know how to spell bow hunter. Peace.